Vegeta Blue, the culmination of every anti-hero's journey into full-blown protagonist, perfected. A Super Saiyan form of Vegeta's Super Saiyan God form. You know when Arxis put this man in the game, they had to make him Wait, what? What the Arxis? Well, regardless of his placement on a tier list, Vegeta Blue actually has a diversified toolbox that makes him one of the better mix-up characters in the game. And a shining example of this toolbox is of course his corner sparking loop. Now, really, you guys put me through the ringer. Let me be honest with you, these are the hardest loops I have ever attempted to accomplish. It took days upon days of just revisiting like the minute little structures within the pauses and gaps. This has tricky timing. In fact, oddly specific timing. So, without further ado, let's show this off, and then we'll break it down. So despite the level of difficulty, these are actually super satisfying to pull off. Like, legitimately, once you get this, you're like, oh, I'm a main this character. I'm a main Vegeta Blue. So let's go ahead and break down the structure of this video. It's going to be separated into two parts because guys, we're on episode 4 of Combos Explained. We're getting a little bit of structure in the system. First part, CLASSWORK, where you learn the theory behind the rhythm. We're going to break it down even further than we have before. Grab your pencils, grab your mind, put your controller down. This part's not for that. Now pick back up that controller because in part 2 you're going to be doing some homework. In the latter half of this video, I'm going to break it down into 25% of the tempo, 50%, and then of course all the way back up to 100%. At the very end, we're going to talk about some applications. Can this do a touch of death? Do you think we can land this online? Does this work on smaller characters like GT Goku? So without further ado, let's go ahead and look at the theory behind this rhythm. Now all of you music majors out there, put your comment sections away. In the last few videos, we had 16th notes. However, this time we're having triplets. And for those of you that don't understand that comment, check this out. In the music community, there's actually a discrepancy on how you count these triplets. A quarter note split into 3 even participles. Well, I'm actually going to defer my knowledge to the genius of Jay Ware, the former professor of jazz studies at the University of South Carolina, who's currently teaching in Virginia. My entire life, I counted triplets 1 and 2 and etc. However, if you line triplets and 16th notes up, the ands and the uhs don't exactly align. So I'm going to be a little bit of a snob here, and we're going to break this down a different way. Say the word triplet with me. Now break it into 3 even consonants. Triplet. That's where we're going to focus. Every single input is going to fall on one of those little participles. Now, take the tr away. You can count to 4, right? Try it out. 1 pa-lit, 2 pa-lit, 3 pa-lit, 4 pa-lit, 1 pa-lit, 2 pa-lit, 3 pa-lit, 4 pa-lit. That's it. That's as easy as it gets. Let's turn up the volume a little bit because eventually this combo is going to need to get to 100 BPM. And that's really where the crux of this loop comes from. So when learning the rhythm of this loop, just keep that in mind, that feel, and it should come a little bit easier. So let's actually break down what we're seeing here, because recently I had a comment on the channel that opened up my eyes a little bit. It said, hey, this is really just a metronome. I thought this was going to go more in depth. Well, my guys, this is for you, because I'm about to break it down for the whole class. Notice between every single string of inputs, there seems to be a pretty quantifiable and repeating break. That break is exactly 1/8 note triplet. At 100 BPM, that is almost nothing, but it can feel like an eternity. In fact, the main crux of this is the air medium. Between the air medium and the special that lets you reset up the loop, man, that's a long time. If you look at the frame data, it looks like Vegeta has time to literally instant transmission, hang out with Bulma, and come back to finish the combo. However, it's not. Remember that the frame data comes out after you hit the input, so sometimes it can be deceiving. Now let's zoom in even further. Check out the pa of 2 in the first measure and the pa of 1 in the second measure. These are called flams. I kind of adjusted them so they even look like rhythmic flams. You have basically 2 inputs that hit almost at exactly the same time, but we're going to treat the forward dash as the grace note, the note that hits first, the note that hits just milliseconds before the R2. Because if you confuse those, guys, you're gonna get a super dash. The combo's just gonna fall. It's just not gonna work. Now, what does all this mean? Yeah, it's jargon. You know what? No, I'm gonna break it down for you. Let's go ahead and go to the drum pad. This is how it's gonna sound. Now that's version 1 of the combo, right, where you use your smash attack and then you spark in order to get that like less delay when you hit the heavy that starts to loop. However, you can do this in sparking with the smash attack. It's just a much bigger delay. So let's throw up that PDF. Check this out. It's a lot. However, you'll notice the same rhythmic structure. Everything has an 8th note triplet rest in between the inputs. The only difference here is that flam on the pa of 2 in measure 1. Technically, this lands between the pa and the let, but if you do a flam at 100 BPM with those inputs, the mechanics of the game actually allows for a little bit of push and pull, or as we call it in the musician sphere, rushing and dragging between the pa and the let of 2 in measure 1. So if you hit it, it's gonna come out regardless. Just be sure to have that 8th note triplet rest in between each little input. And of course, as you continue the combo, it just moves on the same. So that's it. That's the class work. That's what we need to talk about in breaking down the rhythm. As at this point, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the study portion, where you're actually going to take your controller in hand and practice 25% of the speed, 50%, and 100%. I'll actually have both variations up. Cool? Same side, you'll be able to see the stun time, slow down the frame data of me attacking Frieza, and then we'll move on afterwards to the Q&A. So how did it go? I hope it was helpful for you guys, because honestly I need to be extremely candid with you right now. These loops are probably not applicable to an online environment. The frame data is so incredibly precise that even a 2-frame delay is going to mess up the combo structure. If you're thinking about trying this online, showing off your Vegeta Blue, don't do it. just don't do it. However, if you're in a local environment and you've practiced this enough, you're going to be able to get it consistent. So when should you whip this out? Well, honestly, if you can land this 3 times in a row, I feel pretty confident that you're a Vegeta Blue player. You feel great about it. Now let's talk about something else. Now personally, I wasn't quite able to find a way to make this into a touch of death combo, but with a little bit of research online, I'd actually like to give a shout out to one of my fellow YouTubers. Be sure to check out Bondler007 on YouTube. He has a wonderful solo loop touch of death that just absolutely blows my mind. Now I'm not going to rip the video from his page, but I will link him down in the description below right here. And if you look at the top right corner of the screen, click on the info, you'll be able to find him there too. Dude, you are incredible. Now, as for the question, does this work with a 3 loop variation? Yes, it does, but only with like really big characters. I wouldn't recommend doing it because even then the stun damage is just so incredibly high. Additionally, does it work on smaller characters? Well, check it out. Here's the loop on GT Goku. And with that being said, I do appreciate this character. I think he's incredible. More importantly, I think he's underrepresented. He actually has one of the more diversified toolboxes in the game, as I've mentioned before. So what makes him low tier? Honestly, I don't know. I think his assist is OP. It really is. It can block a super dash. I mean, come on. That's an amazing assist, and it happens for a long time. If you have GT Goku on your team, it can even in some situations set up his Spirit Bomb without having to do the reverse Kamehamehas. That being said, thank you for supporting Combos Explained. This has just been so fun. The Dr. Blue channel has had so much feedback on Reddit, on the Twitter, and more importantly, the YouTube, where I founded my home hub. So without further ado, I have been the Dr. Blue. You are incredible. Please let me know which character you'd like to see below. I take polls all the time. I have a few in mind, but I want to see what you guys want. I would never have picked this character if it wasn't for the community involvement, and honestly, I am so glad I have. Like, share, and subscribe for more content like this, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video.